Peace.
What up, though?
What's good, family? Gather round, gather round. A1 Drizzy, what up? Peace, guy.
Everybody still here? We got through the FEMA alert in one piece.
Yeah. Ain't nobody turning into a zombie, right? You don't have a taste for human flesh all of a sudden, do you? We're gonna get into that. Miles Bachelor. God, wisdom, peace, Allah. In plain sight. Yes, sir. You right on time. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good one. That's right. Let's talk about that national alert that we thought we could duck. We thought we could turn our phones off from, and as soon as you turn your motherfucking phone back on, that shit was like a text that you fucking, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, you dirty bastards. You non-playing fair ass bastards. That's right, God. Today's mathematics is culture freedom. You need to. Culture is one's way of life. Our way of life is I, God. A culture that frees your dome, frees your mind, frees the gods and herbs. Everybody click that like button. And let's get this thing started. We got our guest in the house. And it goes like, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
Yeah, we got another hip hop legend.
Yeah.
In the house tonight.
I had to stop what I was doing for this one, and technically I'm in motion, but I had to crash somebody's crib and grab a corner. So I'm apologizing for the lighting. They don't really have a podcast set up. This was the best I could do, but I listened to that.
Lives in a cave, and
I listened to that audio from the last broadcast. Like, all right, if I'm gonna use my fancy phone, I better put some headphones on.
Yeah, they was talking mad shit about you in the comments, Digga.
And why wouldn't you tell me the audio?
I didn't really hear it like that, to be honest. Like it, I don't know. It didn't really sound that way to me until
look great.
I started. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was looking tight, but then I don't know. People in the comments, they was like, "Yeah, her shit sounds. She need a mic." I was like, maybe I was so over impressed by the Digga cam that I was just.
Normally I would use my computer. I've got MacBook Pro and an iMac. I was at that time. I was doing some Final Cut stuff that was rendering, and I couldn't use the computers at that time. So I tried it with my phone. I didn't have headphones on, and there I was looking fantastic and 5G 4K pixels sounding like crap. So my bad, guys.
All right. Well, listen, I'm glad everybody's here. We made it through this national alert. We didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. They got movies out there where motherfuckers, you know what I mean? They had a national alert, and then some motherfuckers start attacking each other and all that. They turned into some shit. You know what I mean? We know people got the boom, boom, bam, boogie up in their shit. A lot of nanoparticles running around. We don't know what these tones could do. Motherfucker, this shit might still activate within, you know what I mean? Might activate within an hour or so. So keep an eye on these motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, listen, let's get to the shits. We got our brother, man. He's been in this hip hop game long time, man. Like, he was guiding the game before both of us, actually. But
from the beginning,
right at a young age, and just walk through the door with legends. Like the first time you seen him, it was just like word, like You know what I mean? Like,
and
my man
still
just
does
bust
it.
out on the scene.
and still does it consistently on a very high level.
It was like, how do you even do that? Like, I still gotta figure this out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to be on fucking that joint with Coogee Rap and you know what I mean, Craig G and Big Daddy Kane, and you know it's a rap classic on your first. You know what I mean? That's the first time I feel like I heard Ace. Did I hear any Ace before that? I don't think so. But we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all read it in the headline. Y'all see who it's gonna be. Let's welcome our brother who also right now has the credits of being, what can I say, a playwright. He has a musical. Yeah, so we're gonna call him a playwright. Yeah, this
A
is gonna
very
be
good one too.
Listen, I heard you saw it, so you know that's why you needed to be here. So, because you got that first-hand account, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our brother family to the show, Master Ace. Peace, my brother.
What's good? What's good?
Oh, now your camera looks very vibrant. I like your colors in the background.
Yeah, I know. I'm like background looking colorful. I'm jealous.
Yeah, you looking nice. That orange, burnt orange. I like it. What's good, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to be on the show finally.
Yeah, man. It's great to have you, man. I don't even fully know where to start, man. You just been around so long. You've done so much. You continue to do so much. You're one of the rappers that I feel like over the years have kind of like, you've just been able to just maintain and move through all these different eras. You seem to always keep up your appearance. Like, you know, I'm just now seeing a little gray in your beard, but basically you look like Master Ace, like, you know what I mean, from back in the days. Like you're aging well, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, and you're the renowned international booking agent's Karen favorite artist to book. Everybody hates you, just so you know.
Why would they hate me? That's a great thing. That's door opening for, because you know she wants to book a lot of other artists from the States, but people don't be on top of their business. They cats be late and missing flights and doing all that nonsense, and she don't want the stress. You just got to be on point at all.
Wait, aren't you a Virgo?
Me, I'm a Sag.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God! I knew there was a reason that we just mesh.
Oh, you a Sag too? Is that it?
Absolutely a Sag.
Oh, okay.
December 4th.
Ah, okay. That's Jay-Z's birthday, right?
Jay-Z and Tyra Banks and a couple other people.
And also, that's the birthday of Brand Nubian All for One album.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's the day that came out. So great day to be born. Matter of fact, let me shout out my pops. Yesterday was his born day, October 3rd. So shout out Mr. DeShalis, Big Larry D.
How is his health?
He's getting better. He's actually about to get out the hospital right now and go to a physical therapy
rehab facility.
Yeah. So I actually got to go over there after this. But yeah, that's good news. So anyway, let's just, man, I always just like to start stories from the beginning. Like, what's your story, bro? Like, where you from? You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me ask you the quintessential question, what I like to ask a lot of people. When did you go from being a hip hop fan to a hip hop participant?
So, when I was in high school, really before high school, junior high is when we first started DJing, had a little DJ crew, and we had a setup in my boy Rodney's crib on the 9th floor. We would go up to his crib and just cut up break beats.
And where are we? Where are we?
This is Brownsville, Brooklyn. Howard Houses projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. That's where I was born and raised. And it started off just DJing, just participating in that way. There was a lot of older guys that would bring the music out to the park in the summer. So I would go down there and I would stay down there at the park listening to the DJs play until the lights, the street lamp came on. Then I had to go in the house. But those are the early humble beginnings for me. Just wanting to be a part of it. I didn't start rhyming probably until eighth or ninth grade. I started dabbling. And by the time I got to senior year, I was like one of the nicest dudes in the school. A couple other guys on the team rapped as well. And we ended up entering a little talent show at the high school, won first prize. And it was off and running from there.
So you won first prize at a talent show. So how do you go from being at a talent show in Brownsville and then ending up in front of Molly Mall and all this type of shit to where you won the fucking, you know what I mean? You got on that legendary joint to where, and Kane has been on this show before, and he told a story that was fucking hilarious about,
Glasses.
Yeah.
Glasses.
About glasses. That was fucking funny. So how did you go from that to being up there and niggas looking at you like they wasn't even sure until you put that work down and okay, Glasses got that shit. Glasses got that shit. How did that all happen?
So senior year was the talent show at my high school, Sheepshead Bay High School in Brooklyn. I was up there with four other teammates on the football team. All of us was on the team, and we ended up winning. We won. We were dope, but we definitely won because we were on the football team. We were mad popular. All the girls were cheering for us, so we won probably by default just because we were on the team. And then when I graduated, I went off to college. And about 2 years into my college time, I came home for Christmas, and my boy Scooter Rockwell, who's also from Brownsville, he's from Marcus Garvey Village, called me up and said there was a rap contest happening at USA in Queens, and he invited me to join him into the contest. I met him on the train. I had never been on stage in front by myself. You know, being up there with your four teammates is a lot more different than being up there by yourself. But for some weird reason, I didn't even have a second thought about it. I was like, yeah, you know, and I guess I was that confident in what I had. So rode up there on the train and jumped on that stage for the first time in front of a room full of strangers and spit my rhyme, which was basically it was like kind of story rhymes, very reminiscent of Lottie Dottie.
You remember any of it?
I probably remember a few punchlines, but it was two parts. The first part was the first part of my rap was called Silver Suckers, and it was a rap about dudes who was wearing sterling silver, which at that point it had played out. It was like 86, and it was all about gold at that time. So I had a whole rhyme about dudes who were still wearing sterling silver. And it just so happened it was a dude in the audience that had on truck silver. He just had on like Mr. T amounts of sterling silver on. So
I remember when niggas used to do that silver shit.
Yeah, the crowd thought I was like literally dissing that specific guy. So they thought I was going at him. I wrote that that was just what I wrote. It just happened to fit the moment. And so they were like, oh, they were pointing at him. And so that was the first part of the rhyme. And then the beat switched and I went into this rap called A Hoe is a Hoe, which is just like basically like Lottie Dottie, just talking about meeting this girl and, you know, going to her crib and this and that. And
there just happened to be some whores right there. Like,
nah, but it was, you know what it was at that time? You know, like people weren't really saying real crazy stuff on songs. It was anything you said that was even like innuendo, you know, like sort of suggesting sex, that was enough to make people go crazy. Like, So it wasn't super raw stuff that you had to say. And so I had a bunch of punchlines in there, and I had the beat programmed to stop directly on the punchline and then continue. So I had it really, really set up. Programmed the drum machine on the F train on the way there, and made sure that the beat stopped where I wanted it to stop and continue where I wanted it to continue. And I ran through the whole verse. And at the end of that, I hit him with that last punchline. Everybody went crazy, and it was like, yo, you made it to the finals. Come back next week. And I came back next week, and I made it. I was like in the top. It was like 30 people that first day. The second day was down to 10 or something, and I ended up winning. I had to write a whole new, because I was gonna come with that same "a hoe is a hoe" rhyme, but I had to write a new verse because I didn't want to come with the same thing. So I had the same hook, but then I just wrote a whole different verse. So they were expecting a hoe is a hoe, but then I hit them with a whole different verse, and I just really that put it over the top. So I ended up winning, and first prize was
You
6 hours.
remixed your own shit real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I couldn't come with the exact same rhyme. Like that wasn't gonna do it. I wanted the wild one with something new. So
you didn't do the silver. Did you do the silver joint again?
Nah, I didn't do the Silver Suckers. I just did the hoe is a hoe, the new version of hoe is a hoe. And memorizing that joint in a week's time. I remember being on the train, going over it in my head, messing up. Damn, I gotta get it. But something about that pressure of being up there, like it made it all come together. Like it was no hesitation, no stumbles, no nothing. And first prize at that contest was 6 hours studio time, and it happened to be with Marley Marl, and that's how it all started for me.
Wow!
Nice. What a great grand prize!
Hell yeah!
So, but to be honest, second prize was $500, and as a broke college kid, I was more looking at the 500. The 5 would have came in handy, but I didn't know that studio time was going to lead to an actual career.
El Presidente, AED. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate y'all. He says, salute y'all. Salute to you, my brother. So you get, all right. So you won studio time with Marley. Now what?
So the owner of the club gave me Marley's number. Well, he gave me the number that he had, and I'm calling this number for about 5 months. Every time I call, it's his sister. She's like, he not here. She ran that for about 4 or 5 months, and then later that summer, I guess she just felt sorry for me. She's like, you know what? He don't actually stay here no more. Here's his real number, and she gave me his real number. And the number I was calling was actually in the bridge, in Queensbridge Projects at his mom's crib.
Right.
But he had moved to Astoria. He had his own number and all that. So she gave me the real number. And he picked up the phone on somebody, who's this? And I'm like, yo, it's Master Ace. I won this rap contest. You owe me 6 hours. What's good? Like, I'm on some like aggressive,
that's
right.
That's how you presented yourself like that? Like, yo, owe me the 6 hours. What's good?
What's good, exactly, because I felt like he was trying to play me. I thought he was trying to basically slip out of, paying up.
Wait, how old are you at this time?
So I'm in college. I'm second year of college. I'm probably 20. No. Yeah, I'm probably 20. Probably 20.
Okay, so you know what I feel it is then? I think, well, goddamn, if you were 20 when you did the symphony and all of that, you looked younger.
I was 20 when I did the symphony. I was probably 21. 80, we did it in 88, so I was born 66. I was 22. Yeah,
probably looked like you could have been 17 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I noticed all the college kids I see now look like high school kids to me. They look mad young to me.
Yeah, crazy young. Yeah, they do. You're right. Okay, so wait. So you get with Molly, he tried to play you, and what happened?
Yeah.
Or you thought he was trying to play you?
Yeah. So he told me to meet him in the bridge at his mom's building on a particular day. He might have said like meet me there at 1. So me and my DJ, Steady Pace, we got there like 12, just trying to be on some early, like ain't trying to miss the boat shit. So we out there sitting on the bench from 12 o'clock. While we out there like 2 hours, 3 hours. Craig G comes walking up, introduces himself. He's like, "Y'all waiting for Marley, bro?" He always got dudes waiting on the bench for him. So he actually sat there and talked to us for about 30 minutes or so. I got to know him. Craig was probably 15 at the time.
Right. And that's where I probably felt like you was peers with him or some shit like that. Like
he was like a little kid. I mean, not a little
y'all
kid,
was
but
part of the next wave, you know what I mean? Of the younger next generation or something.
Craig was mad young, but he had a very old soul. Like he was able to relate to people older than him. So the conversation was regular, it was normal. And so eventually Marley rolled up there around 4 or 5. Like we was out there like 5 hours on that bench. He rolled up mad late. We went upstairs. I did my first couple of hours. He put me in a pre-production room with MC Shan to do drum programming. And I mentioned that to Shan like recently, and he's like, "Oh, if he put you in the room with me, he was just trying to get rid of you because I didn't know what I was doing."
Damn, wait, hang on, y'all. I gotta take this call real quick. Y'all continue
We'll
talking.
chop it up. So I would love to take this opportunity to share my favorite. Actually, I want Jamar to hear the story, so I'll wait for Jamar to come back down. But you know, you will always have a near and dear place in my heart, and I know you know the story too.
I do.
Word.
It's appreciated. Listen, it's all good, man. All of our journeys cross paths one way or another. You know, over the years, and you know, I'm definitely grateful for you being on what I consider my most important album of my career, which is Disposable Arts. You being one of 3 female artists that were featured on that album, and it's great. I don't know if there had been an album up to that point where a male artist featured 3 different women on songs, but that's my most important album because it basically gave me a reset on my career. That album reset my entire career, and it's my most important album. It's my favorite album, and it's the album that gave me a 22-year extension of a career, which almost nobody in our business gets. You know, once you kind of reach that point where it kind of seems like it's about to be a wrap, it's usually a wrap. You don't get a reset. And I was fortunate, thanks to the European audience, I was fortunate to get a chance to extend that career for 2 decades. The second half of my career, if you want to call it a half, is longer than the first part of my career. So my first 3 albums, the third album was 95, Sitting on Chrome was 95. So Take a Look Around, Slaughterhouse, Sitting on Chrome. Then there was that long break where I didn't do any music, and then I dropped Disposable Arts in 2001. And since 2001 to now, we're talking about 22 years. And wow, it's crazy that part of my career is longer than that first part. The first part seems like a blip now when I look back.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know myself and the outsiders. I know we used to bump Slaughterhouse religiously, and a lot of people probably don't even know my name. Rod Digga comes from Lord Digga.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so my nickname, my when I was I had a brief moment in my career where I was signed to DOS Effects, and I had a rap partner, and people used to call me Rod Diggity as my nickname. And once I stopped working with them, and then, you know, the Iggity phase kind of went, it's like, okay, what is my name going to be? Like, what's my name going to be in real life? So I thought to shorten it to Digga because of Lord Digga. It was like, Bra Digga. Okay. Because I didn't know what to do with Diggity. Right. And Digga came to me because of Lord Digga. So you, yeah.
what was the name of the group that you were signed to with Josh?
Twice the Flavor. So we came together. We actually came together through Flavor Unit. She had another partner, and I was a solo artist. And we were, this is like my early teenage days. Like Flavor Unit was like my first unofficial rap crew, but we weren't really part of Flavor Unit. We were more or less the understudies chasing chasing Queen Latifah coattail. But ultimately we stopped working with them, and then we just beat the pavement, and we ended up on the doorstep of Das Effects. So my first like real rap name, I guess, would be Rod Diggity. But once the Iggity went away, it became Digga, largely in part because of Lord Digga. So you, in a 6 degree of separation, you have a lot of quintessential moments in my career.
Very cool.
Pardon me, y'all. I had to, that was the hospital call, and I had to answer that.
Nah, you good. I wanted to share a story, but I wanted to wait for you to come back before I told the story. So
I was gonna say, what did I miss? Did I miss how you got on the symphony? Did we get there?
No.
No.
When you jumped off, we just kind of paused it.
Okay, good. Thank you. So where would you like to tell your story now, Digga? Or
I would love to. So my very first official, like, I'm a rapper luxury car came to me by way of Masta Ace. Up until I worked with
Ace. Heck 9.
up until the point I worked with Ace, and he paid me to appear on his album on a song, the Type I Hate. I was pretty much, struggling artist with driving hoopties, doing what I gotta do. It was that check that allowed me to be able to afford a down payment on a Land Rover. So that was like my first I'm a rapper vehicle, and it came to me by way of Masta Ace.
Wait. So I just missed this. Hang on. How did you get paid? You did a verse for Masta Ace? How did you get paid for Masta Ace?
Masta Ace had a recording budget.
Oh, okay.
And he paid me a substantial amount of money to spit a verse on his album.
Substantial amount.
he paid,
not by today's standards.
Yeah. At the not by today's.
Right, but back then, yeah.
Back then, it was substantial enough for me to be able to go to the Rover dealer and cop myself a Land Rover.
Nice.
So every time I see it, I always say, yes, Ace, you bought me my first luxury whip.
You put me in a luxury car game. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ain't that some shit? Okay, so yeah, I want to get back to the symphony and all of that. How the hell? This is your first joint. How the hell you're recording with Molly? Obviously, he's like, this guy's dope.
See, I didn't know that at the time. I think it was gradual.
Yeah, because he put you in the room with Shan, and Shan's like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So
he was just trying to burn those hours to get rid of me. But eventually, we recorded a couple of demos, and I think by virtue of him hearing those demos, I think at that point he's like, yeah, dude is kind of all right. So once I hit the 6-hour mark, he was like, yo, come back, keep coming back. And so that junior year of college went by, and then my senior year, and I'm going back to his crib during the summers. I'm going back, and then that senior year when I graduated, at that point I probably had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs that we had recorded, and 2 of the songs he decided to put on his album, More Than Control. And the same year I graduated from college is the same year that he basically told me, I'm putting these 2 songs on my album, and I want you to be a part of the record. And so that was a big year for me, because that was the same year that the symphony got recorded, because we did a photo shoot for the album cover, That's the picture of all of us in the back next by the jet. And that day, I overheard Craig and Marley talking about taking Kane and G-Rap to his crib in Astoria to record one last song for the album. And so I was just so curious to hear this song. And Craig didn't have a ride, and I was driving, so I was like, "Yo, I'll take you over there." But truthfully, I just wanted to be nosy. I wanted to hear this song. I was a big Kane fan. I met Kane that day. I don't know if he mentioned that, but the day of that picture was taken, that's the same day I met him.
I think he did. He may have mentioned that.
Yeah, we met. I met Biz and Kane that day for the first time. I had already met Shan. I had already met G-Rap. But those two guys, Biz and Kane, I met that day. So I overheard them going to Marley's crib to record this one last song. And I just wanted to be a fly on the wall, really. I wasn't going there to try to get on the joint or nothing. I just wanted to hear the song, hear the rhymes. So I tagged along, hung out. Marley had the beat playing. They were all vibing, writing or whatever. And when the time came to somebody to go in the booth first, there was this whole big debate about who was going to go in and lay their verse down first.
Because everybody wanted to be Reggie Jackson, probably.
Yeah, everybody back then that was what you wanted. You wanted to rhyme last.
Yeah,
the anchor leg.
You want to be clean up.
The anchor leg. Now we all learned that it's better to lead off the joint because you're
gonna might cut the record off real quick.
Right. So after this debate going back and forth between the three of them, Marley just looks over at me. Yo, you got something? You got a verse you could just lay something down real quick. These guys acting scared. You know, if you lay something down, then maybe they'll loosen up. So I was like, all right, I got something. And I just spit one of my memorized rhymes. I walked around with 10 to 12 verses always for any situation. So I spit one of those memorized joints, laid it down, and you know, I guess when I went in the booth initially, that was when the whole conversation with G-Rap and Kane ensued, where they were talking about, yo, this guy, who this guy? He throwing glasses on the joint, yo, I'm about to be out.
Oh man, it was hilarious the way Kane told it.
Excuse me 1 second, guys. I gotta run grab my computer charger.
So they had I guess they had a plan to go to the pizza shop and just never come back.
Right.
That was their plan. And the only thing I could think of is they must have heard my first take before they left. And then they had another sidebar like, yo, glasses
yeah.
right.
Oh man. And so you made it on. So now did you stay for the whole, you put your shit down, and after you put your shit down, everybody that was in there was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You got pounds and all that type of shit. So now the next person went, Craig went.
Yep.
Then G-Rap went.
And I'm be honest with you, when I heard G-Rap's verse, I started thinking about other verses I should have said instead of the verse I did say. I was like, damn. He just went so in on it. I was like, damn, I should have said this rhyme instead of that rhyme. Start second guessing my shit.
Yeah.
Because G-Rap got just super busy on it. But it was what it was, you know. And remembering that I don't think there was ever really a plan to keep me on the song. I don't think there was a plan to keep me on the song. I think it was just more or less him trying to get guys warmed up. Get them. He was a
placeholder, you believe, but somehow and it ended up being that shit when he played it for everybody. It was like, yo, that whole shit is some shit.
Exactly.
So that was you had a record on Molly shit before that? You said you had 2 records on some shit Molly put out before that? What were those records?
So the same album that the Symphony is on, it's called Marley Control. I got 2 songs on that album, a song called Keep Your Eyes on the Prize and a song called Simon Says. And those were my 2. Those were 2 of my demos that we had recorded over the course of that last year and a half. And so he put 2 of those songs on his album.
Because I'm trying to remember if I heard those songs. Because I started as a DJ, so I have a lot of records in my head and I was definitely on to a lot of cutting edge shit. Like if I liked your shit, I'm gonna play your shit.
Those songs were, I would say those songs were pretty forgettable. Like they weren't songs that raised your eyebrow. He chose those records. We had other joints that I would have probably preferred he put on there, but he chose those for whatever reason. Maybe he wanted variety.
Right.
So he chose those records, and it was what it was.
So for all intents and purposes, we could say that the public was first introduced to you on the symphony. Yes.
For sure, because we shot a video and nobody had ever heard
I
or seen
definitely
me until
remember
then.
just in my mind being like, who is this kid? You know what I mean? Like he just came out. I never heard of him. You know what I mean? Like as a Queensbridge, and he whispers in the background. Like I feel like I've been following this Juice Crew thing, and just boom. You know what I mean?
Because everybody else had records out. Craig had Shout Rap, and he had Duck Alert was getting airplay. He had Shout Rap, and he was on Juice Crew All Stars. G-Rap had It's a Demo. He had Rikers Island.
That was my
Fly.
first time I heard.
So G-Rap had like 3 singles. I'm Fly was another joint he had. So he had records out. And Kane, of course, had records out. So all of them had been heard on records before. I was the only unknown.
Right. And you basically, though, what was dope, it was like you represented for all the unknown niggas out there. You know what I mean? Like you had all of our spot. You know what I mean? Like I would have loved been on the fucking symphony. But fucking Masta Ace was lucky enough to fucking be in the right place at the right time to fucking do that shit. Like, and that's beautiful. Like, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, let's clap it up for that.
Right place, right time, right round.
So did it feel like after you heard it, did you feel like, yo, I'm on a classic right here. Like this shit.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
So tell me, what did it feel like?
It didn't feel like anything because I didn't think he was keeping my verse. I thought the plan was just to have Craig set it off, and it wasn't until he played it on the radio that I realized that he kept my verse.
So once you hear it on the radio and you're like, oh shit.
My phone started ringing. My phone started ringing off the hook.
And you're like, what the fuck?
On my mom's phone. Yeah, people was calling my mom. Yo, that's you.
And your mom like, don't be tying up my line. This is when
that was phone call waiting.
A busy signals.
One way.
Three-way call, all of that.
Yep. But yeah, a bunch of different people call me like, yo, I can't believe it. That's crazy. I was like, I can't believe he kept my verse.
So once you hear the whole thing, now what you thinking?
I mean, I was more focused on did I say the right rhyme? You know, because I'm hearing G-Rap, I'm hearing Kane. Like I heard Craig, I felt like Craig, okay, me and Craig, we kind of in the same zone. But then G-Rap just went so bananas on it.
Yeah.
And then Kane, because both of their verses were long. G-Rap verse was super long, but Kane's verse was kind of long too. And you know, Kane was caught in your ass because you played yourself and all this shit. I'm like, oof. I don't know if I said the right rhyme. That's all I kept thinking about. I don't know. But
you did. Like the shit it did what it was supposed to do. Like them niggas were supposed to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they was those guys at that time, and like we expected them to come on the track and almost act like fucking superheroes. But y'all was holding your own, like amongst the superheroes. These guys were just everybody's favorite at the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess y'all just was able to be on there. No matter what you would have said, like I'm telling you that them dudes at that time, trust you said the perfect shit. You said the perfect shit. So to make people recognize you, and you made yourself stand out. Like, you know what I mean? You wasn't trying to sound like nobody else. Like, that's what I liked about your style too. It was like, okay. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Masta Ace. Okay. Fucking with
I got a question for you, Ace. Everybody knows I'm a Juice Crew fanatic. Let me ask you this. Do you remember your frame of, like, what was going on in your head when KRS-One was doing the bridge is over and just kind of attacking the whole Queensbridge. Just like, what were you feeling like, man, I want to get at this nigga, or you was just like, man, let me mind my business, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me?
So just to timestamp it, when the bridge is over came out, I was just a regular kid going to Latin quarters, dancing with girls, partying, doing the WAP. Like I hadn't even met Marley yet.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't even done the rap contest yet.
Gotcha.
So I was completely not part of all that back and forth, kill that noise, all that stuff. I was just like y'all, like listening to it, hearing it, having our commentary and our comments about it. Who won, who was better. You know, I was involved in all of that. I wasn't in close proximity to any of that.
Okay.
But now, once you do get down, do you somehow get pulled in by proximity? You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, because by the time we're talking about 88, 89, which was when Symphony dropped, and my album.
And everybody knew you was from Brooklyn anyway, and not Queens.
Yeah.
So that's something too.
So by the time 88, 89, 90 rolled around, like that battle had been decided already.
Okay.
That battle had been decided. Like it wasn't even a conversation anymore.
Right.
Okay. See, it's all a blur in my head. I'm like, I feel like all of this happened at once. You know, as a decades later, it feels like it was all 88.
I wasn't down yet. I remember being in Latin quarters in South Bronx coming on, and all of us doing the Rambo to that. South Bronx, what's up? We were just doing the Rambo, wilding out.
So when it's time for you now to do your own album and all of that, what label was that?
Coachella.
Coachella? Okay.
Yeah.
So your first album was on Coachella. Yeah. And is this the album that has Me and the Biz on it?
Correct.
The first album.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I saw the documentary on Showtime about Biz. Rest in peace, my man Biz Marquis. Love that brother. Yeah. So you spoke about, tell us the story if you don't mind, about how Me and the Biz came about, and maybe
So I had heard this beat that Marley. I was going through Marley's tape. I think it was DATs. Was it DATs yet? It might have been cassettes. He had a bunch of beats that he had laid down on cassettes, and when it was downtime, I would just go through his cassettes and just listen for beats. And I heard this particular one. I thought it was fire. I was like, "What's up with this beat? I would love to kill this right here." And he said, "Oh, nah, that's for Biz. I'm saving that for Biz." And so I was like, okay. Once he said that, I didn't even think no more about it because it's Biz. I know if it's for Biz, it's gonna be for Biz, and it sounded like a Biz beat anyway. So I left it alone. About a year later, less than a year later, I heard that they weren't really working together anymore. Like there was some issues, there was some tension, and that Biz wasn't gonna be working with Marley anymore. And at that point, I was like, yo, whatever happened with that beat? He didn't even remember the beat. We had to like dig and look for it. Luckily, I remembered what the cassette looked like. And he's like, oh, you can have it. And I was like, well, it was originally for Biz, which it does fit him. So I think it would be cool if I could get him on the song. Now, this is me not really understanding how deep it was between him and Biz. And he was like, if you can get him to do it, cool. And so I reached out to Cool V, and Cool V reached out to Biz. He said he wanted to hear the song. We got him a cassette. He heard it. I wrote the whole rhyme because Marley told me that's how Kane used to do it. He would lay the whole rhyme down for Biz, and the Biz would listen to it over and over, memorize it, and then lay it down. So I laid the whole rhyme down, my verses and his verses. But in order for him to know which parts were his, since our verses went into each other's, I changed my voice on his parts. I just did like a little imitation of what Biz would kind of sound like, just so he would know, okay, this is when I rhyme.
Right.
And so I sent that to Cool V. He let Biz hear it. Biz is like, all right, I'll do it. But I'm not doing it at Molly crib. Tell them to get the
Send
tape.
me the reels.
Yeah, send the reels. I'll record it at my crib and send it back. And when I said that to Marley, he was like, hell no. He ain't getting my tapes. So I got caught in the middle of that whole situation. I was an innocent bystander in their little feud. At that point, Marley was like, let's just use the version that you have here. It's kind of dope. It's kind of dope with you doing both parts. And I was like, what? Like, I don't know. He's like, nah, trust me. It's going to be dope. Nobody ever did nothing like this before. So me being a young artist, not trying to really, make no waves, I was like, all right, well, you Marley Marl, so you must know better. And so we went with the version with me imitating Biz and put it out as me and the Biz and shot a video, which I didn't want it to be a single. Like I fought tooth and nail for that not to be a single. But Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers, and Benny Medina being Benny Medina, they basically said, Benny Medina said on a conference call, if Me and the Biz isn't the single, you're not going to have a second single.
Wow.
And so as a young artist, first album, out the box, first single, I kind of just, lowered my head and was like, I guess that's the single then, because what I'm going to do? So they forced my hand.
And Benny said, and we using a puppet for Biz.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Whose idea was the puppet?
I think it was Lionel Martin who directed it.
Okay.
I think that was his idea. I would love to talk to him. He's around. I don't remember.
But who actually? And you know what? What if?
He might have
what if
we used a big market puppet?
We grown now. Tell the truth. I just got some questions.
Yeah. You could tell the truth now. I'm old enough to hear it. So if it feels like in retrospect, how do you feel about it in retrospect? Like.
Well, that record was, for me, early in my career. That record, I ran from that record with every fiber in my body because it felt like a novelty record, and I wasn't a novelty artist. I learned that that's what labels do. They're gonna find the thing that they think can be somehow, whether it's a novelty or it's a gimmick, whatever it is. If it sells records, we want to do it. So I ran from that I ran from that song, and I ran from that puppet. I remember that puppet being on the jump at my manager's office, and they were like, what you want to do with it? And I was like, throw it away. And they threw it on the junk pile to go out for garbage, because I wanted nothing to do with that puppet. Like
in retrospect,
comments,
keeping the puppet probably,
In retrospect, we should have. I perform that song now. I feel no way about it. But at that time, it was just something that just bothered me. I felt like my hand was forced. I didn't want that to be the single. I didn't want to be viewed as a gimmick artist or a novelty artist. And it was all of those things.
It seems like it was your Prince Rakeem top hat moment.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That moment, we love you, Rakeem. Like, and you live and you learn. Like, shit, when we first came out,
that puppet at the auction right now would probably be
that's what
worth
I'm thinking
so much.
Exactly. But yeah, our first single, Feels So Good. I'm not in love with that video. Like, we was fucking dancing in that video. Like, you know what I mean? But but we kind of did that because we thought that that's what you had to do. Like,
I was flying around in a harness on tight. So I look back at that now. I'm like, wait a minute. I had one of the hardest beat miners beats ever. How did I convince them to put me up and fling me up in a harness? Lord
real quick, we gotta shout out some people real quick. Shout out to Hybrid Cypher. He said the Ace show in Manchester, UK was amazing, and London. Thank you, Hybrid Cypher. Papa Didas, thank you. He said, take a look around. First album I bought with my own money as a kid. Also, Sitting on Chrome was ahead of its time, my G. Peace to Ra and Jamar. Thank you for this worth. Oh, B-Day just passed. Wordsworth B-Day just passed. Okay. Thank you, Papa Didas. Let's see. Mr. Blitz TV. Appreciate you. He said, Ace has never put out a whack project. Peace, Lord J, Queen Digga. Salute, Ace. Yo, Ace, it's Shorty Blitz from UK.
That's my guy. I was just out there with him when I did the shows out there.
Okay, that's what's up. I was going to say, does that mean anything to you?
Absolutely.
You know how some people
He's a well-known
like,
DJ out there. He's a well-known DJ in the UK, in London. Yep.
Shorty Blitz. That's what's up. Big up Shorty Blitz out in the UK. We appreciate you.
Quick question about me. So what was Biz's initial reaction when that record came out and like started blowing? Did he ring your line like, yo, dog?
Fuck you doing?
Nah, see, that's the thing. He didn't ring my line, which should have been an indicator to me that he probably didn't care for it. And my mistake was not going back to him and saying, yo, Marley decided to do this. I didn't really say anything after that. And I should have kind of just gave him a heads up on what the decision had been. I heard through third-party people that he was about to. You remember that song? I don't remember the group. They had a song called "Nobody Can Be You But You."
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Check
remember the
this
artist.
out.
Nobody can be you but you. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I had heard through up at the offices people talking that Biz was gonna redo that song,
right?
Which was kind of gonna be a way to kind of like,
get at you.
Like an indirect,
yeah.
Answer.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I just sang the Pooh-Bah version. No, check this out. Nobody hear me. You're talking about the original song, but in my head, I'm singing. That's funny.
Yep.
It's Steve Arrington.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, so that kind of stuff was swirling around in the atmosphere. And we just never had a conversation about it, even years later. But it's hard to have conversations with Biz when it comes to like anything serious, anything with a little emotion attached to it. As soon as I would have started talking about it, he'd have been like, "Come on, Ace.
Yeah.
Don't start all of that. We good." Like he don't want to get deep. He don't want to get deep with it. So yeah. But yeah, I should have at least made the attempt, and that's what I was kind of saying in the rhyme that I did in the doc, was just like I should have definitely made an effort to just be like, yo, my bad.
No doubt. Well, like I said, we live and we learn, and that's what it's all about, man. Is learning lessons from different situations that come across.
I think the biggest lesson that we all have learned, especially 50 years in, is that the labels thrive on manipulating artists, and it's always about the commodity and the commercial viability over the actual culture. And this I think there's a lot of instances where we can all look back and say, you know what, if I knew then what I know now, I definitely wouldn't have done that.
Definitely.
So,
hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a fresh ass song though.
So you've been known like solid albums, solid lyricism. But like I said, you also were able to shift with the times, you know. So if we fast forward a little bit in your career, man, you know, the thing that sticks out for everybody, man, is this goddamn Born to Roll. Yo, that was so fucking genius at the time. Like, it was just such a smart thing to do. Like, first of all, that beat. Knowledge be Ahmed. Yes, shout out to Dr. Dre. Okay. The
original concept.
original Dr. Dre from over here that produced that original joint. Knowledge me, Ahmed. I mean, I used to love that shit back in the days.
Me too. And I couldn't understand why nobody rhymed on it. Like, they were just talking shit over it.
Right.
They just talked over the whole beat. I'm like, man,
I didn't understand why nobody rhymed over it either back then. But like, but then you kind of forgot, you know, I kind of forgot about that. And when you brought the shit back, but then it's the way you brought it back, because you brought it back at a time when sonically that bass that's in there was popular. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that bass sounds like that Dr. Dre bass that was going to that. Which in turn led you to the whole car fucking out of New York culture. As someone who's been doing a lot of shows and all of that, you know, when you have the privilege of being able to leave New York and you can go to different parts of the country and see how they move around, and you see that they got, you know, different car cultures in place. You go to San Antonio and places, and you know, on Saturdays and Sundays they got the real strip where it's just motherfuckers with low ride just riding up, and that's the shit to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the first time I went to LA, which would have probably been 91, I think, or 90 or 91. That was my first time realizing that they did their cars totally. They was on some totally different shit with cars. I'd never seen Dayton's before until I was out there. I never saw the old cars, the 64 Impalas and all that. That was all like brand new to me. And I was like, wow, it's like a whole different scene out here, different type of rims that we don't rock in New York. And I just realized, but we were into cars too, but we was just a different look.
Right.
And so I just started to appreciate that movement, just the cars. And I had, you know, at the time I had a Chevy Blazer. It had I had rims on it, chrome rims on it. I had two 15s and two 12s in the back. It was dumb loud. So I was already living that whole car, because we would cruise on 125th on Wednesday nights when amateur night at the Apollo was happening. We would ride up and down 125th just trying to holler at girls. And so it was just, it made sense because I found myself just being into the car movement, car culture movement. LL Drop Booming System, which was another influence. And I was actually there when Marley, you know, mixed that joint, and got to appreciate that low end that he put on that joint. And so, like, it was a natural progression into Jeep Ass Nigga, and then eventually the remix Born to Roll.
And the video, like, where did you shoot that video?
We shot that in LA. We shot it at the Super Show, car show, at the LA Coliseum. I guess at that time it was the annual car show that they would do. And we had no video treatment. All we had was our camera guy, Vince Toto. Shout out to him. He actually shot the Saturday Night Live video as well for me on the album before that. And we call it guerrilla style, just taking the camera to a location and just filming all the sights and sounds of whatever's going on. And we didn't have a permit to be there. We were hiding. we couldn't play audio because I would bring too much attention. So I had I had an earpiece in, and I'm
Oh
listening to the
shit.
audio. I'm walking through the crowd, listening to the audio through the earpiece, and the people are walking by. They don't even realize we're recording the video. And so I'm just like walking through the crowd with the earpiece, listening to the audio through there, and rhyming with it. But if you look at people, you can tell that nobody knows that we're filming. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Interesting. Hang on, I think Digga's back. Something's going on with her. Her little feed. Let me see. I don't know. I can see her down at the bottom, but then when I try to just put her in, her screen is black. Maybe it'll just show up in a second. Yeah, people, we're trying to like, they're gonna dance. Some of the people in the chat act damn like, oh, you're gonna skip over the INC album. Like, I'm just trying to hit certain like little marks and all of that because I know that
3 hours.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry, people. We can't talk about every single album, every single song. The man has a catalog that is, you know what I mean? Very vast and very extensive. I'm just trying to hit certain nodes because I know that you would like to get to the present day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We always, people, always like to talk about what you've done in the past, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we're always proud about what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Like,
other things
we
going on.
want to share what we're going on right now. Like, I'm not just, yeah, I'm still moving and shaking, and here's what this is happening. Digga's having a real problem right now. I don't know what's going on with her phone. Her mic and camera are not connecting.
But we can continue with the interview, and maybe she'll pop back on.
Yeah, she'll pop back in. Wait, hang on. Who's this? Oh, let's see. Shout out to I Am Real Estate. Thank you. He said Big Daddy Kane said him and G-Rap didn't mess with you until you did your verse on Symphony. How was your relationship with them two back then?
Well, I didn't really know them. Like I said, I met Kane that day. So to say he didn't mess with me, he didn't know me at that point. We met that day.
Yeah. I think that guy was paraphrasing,
Yeah. I met G-Rap one time before that, which was at Marley's crib. It was one of the sessions I was over there to do some recording, but G-Rap Polo came through with his new MC. Because Polo was he had a kid named Frost that was down with him, MC Frost. And when he showed up at Marley's crib, he had this new kid with him. He's like, yo, this is my new rapper. His name is Cool G. And he had a Hawaiian suit. Remember the Hawaiian short sets? He had one of those on. And later that day they recorded It's a Demo while I was there. And but that was like nobody knew who I was. I was just a person in the session. He didn't know me. So he probably didn't remember me from that day, but I remembered him because It's a Demo was on the radio about a year later, and I was like, oh, that's that joint they was recording at Marley crib that day. I remember not even liking the beat at first when I heard it because because it was so different. Nobody was sampling. Everything was drum programs, just the drum programming. So It's a Demo was so ahead of its time in terms of how it sounded. Nothing sounded like that.
See,
we don't realize it now. But
I believe at that time, right? See, in my mind, hip hop didn't sound right until about this time. You see what I'm saying? Like I hated all of that fucking Sugar Hill fucking playing
stuff.
Oh my, I hated that shit. Like, and the Run DMC shit was getting better, but it still wasn't what I felt like hip hop should sound like in my mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like it should sound more like the tapes, like the exact fucking with the, those type of samples, that type of grittiness and dirtiness. And when those type of samples came out, So when it's a demo, it's a demo and all that type of shit came out. Fucking,
That was
I
groundbreaking.
immediately like knew, like I was like, this that shit right here. And just the way he was rhyming on that shit, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fucking bananas.
The day they recorded it, I was sitting there listening to the beat, and I was like, I don't get this beat at all. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it, but it's because it was so new to me. I was used to, if you listen to early 80s beats, LL, Houdini.
Yeah.
I won't even say Houdini, but definitely LL. I Need a Beat was just boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, 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 boom, bam. I need a beat. It was literally just drum programming. That's all it was, and
Right.
maybe some rank, some
Right.
scratches in it. But that's all the beats were.
Yep.
And so to hear it's a demo with James Brown with the scream in there and it was just like different. And maybe at the moment when I heard it, I didn't really get it. And then when I heard it on the radio, maybe like about 7 months later, then it made sense because at that point other music had come out. And then it was like, oh, this is fire. Okay, I mess with this. But initially I was like, nah, I don't get it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I loved it from the second. I was like, finally, this shit is sounding the way I feel like it should sound. Like, you know what I mean? So maybe you heard the beat, but once you heard how he was rhyming on it, did that make you say, oh, okay, I kind of see how? Like, did he give you because I could understand, like, you listen to the beat without nobody rhyming on it, but once you heard lyrics to it, did that help to sway you in a certain like?
So you
Oh,
gotta remember, It's a Demo was another ode to a DJ song. So he wasn't really getting busy so much. He was just talking about polo. It was all about polo. The whole rhyme was about
right.
polo. He was bragging about his DJ.
Yeah.
So we were just so used to those kind of rhymes about being about a DJ. The style was dope, but it didn't stand out to me as like, oh, this that dude. It wasn't until Rikers Island and I'm Fly where I was like, yo,
You
this
won't be
dude is
smiling and
ridiculous.
ragging down. That was
Yeah, that's when we really got to see what he could do.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what in the ethos is happening over here, but the gadgets are tweaking and the dog was just barking like a lunatic. So I don't know what's going on. Something about something ain't something about something seems something. And I don't know, my charger isn't charging anymore. So I'm gonna have to put you guys on hold one more second and give me a second.
So okay, yeah. Well, interesting. Man, let's talk about what you got going on right now, man, because that's really the shit. And when she come back, I hope she can come back because she actually saw. But you have a musical. How did Master Ace go from lyricist extraordinaire, hip hop legend to someone who wrote a musical?
Playwright, right?
Yeah.
Well,
How does that even happen? Andrew Lloyd Webber style.
so I've always had stories, ideas in my head that I wanted to do. Either I didn't know if it was a screenplay, I didn't know if it was a TV show, but I knew I wanted to expand my writing in other ways. Theater was not in the forefront. It was either screenplay or something, a scripted television show. I had been writing, like loosely writing a few different things. But it had always been, oh, I'm hype on this idea. I start writing for like 2 months, and then I get a tour, and I don't touch it for 7 months, a year, and that was my pattern. Like I get this idea, I'm gonna write something, I start writing it, it's coming out good, then I get sidetracked with life and work and touring, and then I leave it alone. It's just sitting on my laptop, like waiting for something to happen to it. So what happened was, one of the guys that I toured with, his name is Power Malu, Baby Power. People from the Lower East Side know him as Baby Power. He's been in all the hip hop videos, the Big Afro. You definitely seen. He probably been in one of your videos. He probably been in a Brand New Being video. But anyway, Power. He was telling me about this theater company. Because Power was doing this one man show. That's how it really started. He was doing this one man show. It was called Kings of Queens, Kings of, what was it called? I'm messing up the name. County of Kings. That's what it was called. And
wait, and who's doing this one man show?
Power, Baby Power, Power Malu.
Yeah, Power, yeah,
You know
Spanish
Power.
Yeah. I know.
So Power has this acting ability that I knew nothing about. Apparently, he had been taking acting classes and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he told me about this one man show. And while we were on the road, I would see him rehearsing either in his hotel room or in some cases like in the. I remember one time running into him in the stairwell of the hotel, like going down to the lobby. I was going down to the lobby. He's in the stairwell, just talking to himself. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm working on this one man show thing, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got to take time every day and just memorize the rhyme, the words or whatever." So I saw him doing that. So eventually, I saw him actually do the show, County of Kings. I was blown away. I was like, "Yo, this guy, you would never know." In that one man play, he does like 7 characters, different voices. Like he changes his voice, the cadence, different characters, just amazing. So after seeing that, I was like, "Yo, that's crazy what you did right there." I said, "I've been thinking about like trying to just like work." I told him about some of the stuff I was working on. He's like, "Yo, you should try to adapt one of your things to maybe to theater." I was like, "Theater? I don't know." So he told me about this party that they were having this party to launch this new theater company, this new hip hop theater company called Rhymes Over Beats. And I went with him to the party, and at that party, the guy who discovered the theater company, his name is Patrick Blake. He got on the mic and said, "We're looking for artists that want to take ideas and bring them to stage for theater." Mano was there, Fred the Godson, rest in peace, was there, Lil C's was there. There was a few artists there, and from what I had heard, that at that time they were kind of like loosely talking to Mano about doing something. But I was like, "Wow, okay, I like this. Let me start something." So I took one of the ideas that I had been working on for a screenplay, and I started adapting it to a theater format. And I worked on it for about a year, and they knew I was working on it, and they asked me how I was going. I was like, "I may be like 3 scenes in after a year." He's like, "You know what you need? You need someone called a dramaturge." I was like, "What's that?" "It's just somebody who you meet with every week, and you go over the new scene, and you talk, and you work through the whole thing." So he put me on. He put this dramaturge. Her name is Kate Camerata. He put me in touch with her, and she became the person that I would meet with once a week, over the phone or over Zoom. It ended up being Zoom later, but we were meeting in person. Then the pandemic hit. Then we were meeting over the phone and Zoom. And once I had somebody that was going to hold me accountable to get something written for the next week, that's when the process started to really, really go. Because I knew, 7 days from now, I'm gonna have to read something new. I'm gonna have to show her something new that I wrote, and I can't be like, "Oh, I ain't writing nothing this last week." So that helped me. That kept me accountable. And 5 years into the process, we got to the point last year where we did a couple of Zoom reads where we had hired people to come on the Zoom and read through the whole entire script, playing different roles. And Patrick Blake said, "Okay, after that last read," he was like, "Yo, it's time to take it to the stage." This was the end of 2022, and I was like, "Really?" Because in me, I'm like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah. It's time to do a real read, which is like in person in front of an audience." And so he actually put up a significant amount of money to hire a casting agent to rent out to rent out the theater row on 42nd Street so that we could do rehearsals. So we
More
casted
money
it.
than you gave Digga to get that fancy
Yes,
car.
significantly more. Um, and we started rehearsals. And June 1st and June 2nd, we did 2 stage readings. And all the reading is the actors are up there with they're sitting in chairs. They have the scripts in front of them, the books with the script, and there's stands. You know how you put when you rhyme, and you might put your rap pages on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
And so normally in a reading, when the actor is quote unquote on stage, they stand up with their book, they walk over to a stand, they put the stand down, and they read their parts. And but this our director, his name is Todd Underwood. He decided to make it like much more interactive, much more movement, and it ended up being just way doper than the average reading. It was more than just people standing up reading and sitting back down. It was all of this movement, and the songs. Mostly all the songs are rap songs, and the actors did an excellent job of delivering these lyrics, delivering the right feeling for the songs. You know, it's a lot of writing that went into it over five plus years now. Getting all the songs right, getting all the music right, and it's still a work in progress. But we had a very successful 2 days of reads. We invited a bunch of potential investors. We invited a bunch of Hollywood producers to see it for the first time. Not Hollywood, Broadway producers to see it. And the feedback overall, the feedback was very well received by the industry as well as the theater community. Very, very positive feedback from everybody.
So what is the play about? And it's called Falling. Yes, you said it's called
The falling season.
A Falling Season.
It's actually the title comes from one of my albums. The album I dropped in 2016 was produced by Kick Beats from LA. He produced that entire album, and he actually produced half the music in this musical. It's about a young man who's entering his senior year in high school in 1988. The whole thing takes place in 88. He's going into his senior year in high school. He's trying to be the first in his family to go to college, and he finds out that he's gotten a girl pregnant, and it's who the girl is that makes his life a little bit more complicated. I don't want to give away too much of the story because it's a lot more fun when you see it live. But Digga was one of the few people who were in the audience and got to see that read, and just experience the entire story from beginning to end.
And voice the reference for her.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the characters, which is the girl that he got pregnant, has 2 rap songs, and Digga was gracious enough to lend her voice to that character and reference those 2 songs, because I did it in my voice, but I really thought it would be much more effective if this female artist could hear a female voice in the song than my voice. So I referenced everything, but I was like, nah, we need a female woman to do it. So Ra was gracious enough to lay the new reference for the actor, so she could hear it, learn the song, and then lay it down in the reading.
So tell us about it, Digga. How did you enjoy the musical and participating in it, and just tell us about your experience with it?
Well, I loved it. I was impressed that the reading was so like perfectly choreographed. I wanted to ask you, how long did it take from the first time they touched the stage and was reading the books to them getting that point? Because it was, pretty much y'all at the point where the only thing that's missing is wardrobe. Like, they were already there in terms of movement and positioning and stuff. So I was very impressed. I thought, when you hear reading, you thinking, yeah, everybody's just going to be sitting around bouncing bouncing off of each other with open books. But no, there was movement, there was choreography, there was it was definitely a reading on steroids.
It was 10 days.
Nice.
10 days.
10 days. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm sitting there because I'm at every rehearsal, and I'm sitting there in my own head. I'm in my own head, like, how the hell is he gonna pull all this together in 10 days? Like, it's not possible. I would be losing my mind. He pulled it together. He would pull different people in for different scenes. The direction, the choreography, everything. Like, it was amazing what he did in that amount of time. So I can only imagine with a full set, with wardrobe, with everybody dressed like it's 1988,
right?
With the background and everything, how crazy it's going to be. But yeah, he pulled that together in 10 days.
Wow, that's dope.
That was super dope. I mean, I went into it with really no expectations because I know you are a talented brother, and I didn't expect anything less. But I was really, really, really impressed. Just knowing your history and how long your footprints are in this game. Just to see you transcending into this Ace was it was very moving. I mean, hey, I got to be honest, in a total transparency, I am so jealous because this was a brainchild of mine, like pretty much ever since we did Carmen. I was like, I want to do something like that. And I had a conversation once upon a time with Quavo about it. I mean, it was so long ago. Cardi and Offset were still creeping at the time. Like, they hadn't even gone public yet. But I had a conversation. I had a run-in with Quavo, and he didn't know me from music. He didn't know like Digga, Dirty Harry. He recognized me from Carmen. He was like, "Oh, I know you was in that hip hop musical thing. Yo, that's my favorite movie. I love that joint. Respect, big up, legend." Like, didn't mention squat about the music. He was just stuck on, "Yo, you was in Carmen." And he was like, "Yo, I always wanted to do something like that, or I would love to do something like that." And I said, "Hey, well, funny you should say that, because I'm in my head like I want to do, I would like to do something like that." So we kind of joked about doing the Three Amigos, the hip hop musical. And we had that conversation. I didn't follow up. He didn't follow up. Years go by. And,
well, there you have it.
And now we don't have a third Migos. So
nothing comes from that. When nobody follows up, ain't nothing gonna happen.
I didn't listen to what did you say? A Turge? I didn't have an accountability partner. There should have been someone on me. There should have been someone on me at least making sure I wrote a page a week or something.
Well, you got to get put up on game too. He didn't know that existed until somebody said, you need somebody with that knowledge, shared that knowledge and said, what you need this. And he's like, oh, word. And it turned out that is what he needed. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not too late, man. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your project. I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to see it, and I can't wait to see it in its in full garb.
We're trying to bring a what I would call a workshop version to Newark.
Ooh, nice.
We because do it all and Midi Baraka were at the second reading on June 2nd. And right after the show, they both ran up to me like, yo, how can we bring this to Newark? And I'm like, yo, let's talk about it. And so since that time, we've been talking about it. And
because they followed up.
Yeah, I followed up. After they said what they said, I followed up with calls. I didn't let it slip.
I was talking to Digga.
Yeah, I know you messing with me.
Shut up, Jamar.
So I've actually, my wife and I went to actually do a tour of Newark Symphony Hall, which is where they recommended it be done. We did a
That would
tour
be
of
so
it,
dope.
and we're now at the budgeting phase, trying to find out what it's going to cost to bring it there.
Wow.
If the budget makes sense, and if Ross Baraka can, find the funds, we would bring it to Newark for like a limited run, maybe a 4 or 5 week run, so people in the tri-state can actually come out and see it with I wouldn't say a full set, because we can't build it like it would be on Broadway, but we can build certain aspects of it and make it kind of, you'll know where you are when the scenes change and stuff like that. We just got to figure out what the budget is going to be. Once we know that, we're going to try to bring it to Newark, and we might bring it to BAM in Brooklyn as well. But these are all just preliminary talks.
Well, you're talking, you're being interviewed by two hip hop actors. Not sure if you're really aware of that, but yeah, we've done a couple things here and there. You know what I
I'm
mean?
aware. I'm well aware.
Well, that cast is set.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that cast is set
for the most part. But
okay.
Sometimes.
Well, they need understudies. Sometimes you never know.
Absolutely. Shout out to Nims, who played one of the major parts in the he played the role of Fats, which is a character from one of my albums. Shout out to Nims for taking on that role.
Shout out to Nims. Fuck your life. Don't you ever disrespect me and not fucking put me in a musical.
But you know what? You know what? I will forego a spot in the musical if I could bend your ear for some of those plugs, because now you can be my accountability partner and I will see this thing through.
Absolutely.
See, fair exchange ain't a robbery.
They are still looking for artists that have ideas that they want to bring to the stage. So this is just phase one.
Okay.
And you seem like if you do it right, you're gonna be inspirational to other people. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna make people like, oh shit, Ace did it and he did it well. Like shit, you know what I mean? Like let me try my hand at the shit. You know what I mean?
It's really just a matter of doing it.
You absolutely are inspirational, because I did what was the thing with Manuel Lynn, the Hamilton.
Yeah.
So I saw Hamilton and I was inspired, like, damn, they doing some hip hop shit. Like, I need to be doing some shit like that. But watching you do it so much closer to home, it's like, no, okay, this can seriously get done.
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton, as dope as it was with the way they were rhyming and everything, super intricate rhymes and all of that.
Word.
The story didn't really resonate with me because of the time period. Like I wasn't, we were slaves at that time. So
it's like glamorizing the colonizers and the slave masters. But they were bussing. They were bussing.
No doubt.
Bussing.
No doubt. I was impressed with the rhymes. I was impressed with the rhyming. But now, most of those actors aren't rappers by trade, which was even more impressive, because that was the first question I asked. I was like, are these people, do they rap in real life? And they were like, nah, they just act.
Because they was spitting, yeah.
I'm like, word?
I'm like, who wrote this?
Yeah, I think he wrote all of the rhymes, and I'm like, this ain't simple ABC raps going on right now.
Nah, it's like ramen.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we, the people, can do to help this come to fruition, as far as helping getting it to the stage? What can we do?
Not a whole lot. I mean, if y'all wanna
you got some money?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they do need donations. If they do, this is the time to speak on that type of shit. Like, the people is here. Like, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Make sure y'all click that like button.
Well, we're in conversation with a few key investors, people who actually have long money that can make it happen. Our ultimate goal is to open in London. That's where I want to open, and I've made that known. We're already talking to a couple of theaters in London, trying to figure out what it's going to cost. Well, we actually know what it's going to cost now. Once we raise that bread, that's where we want to open it. But it would be great to have.
Now, why would you want to open in London?
Because my fan base overseas is much stronger than it is here. I feel like the U.S. market is so driven by numbers and TV and streams and sales and likes, and if you don't have 1 million followers, it doesn't move the needle. I do shows here in the States. You might get 200 people in the room, maybe. Room fits 500, you get 200 in the room. It's a cool show, but
right over
when
there,
I do shows overseas,
sold out.
600 cap room, we got 650 people in the room.
I've sold out up all the merch.
All the merch. I've done Jazz Cafe in London 4 times, and the last 3 times we sold it out. I just know that there's a much more loyal fan base there. And not to mention that there's a train from Paris to London directly. So I know that we're going to get a lot of people, European fans of mine, that are going to jump on a train or jump on one of those cheap ass EasyJet flights that's like $80 and fly to London to see the show. So I'm just much more confident that we set it off in London, because Broadway is a tough market to break into unless you have a story, unless you come with a story. If you say, oh, this thing ran for 6 months in London, sold this many tickets in 6 months. Now Broadway's like, oh, word? Now Broadway, because Broadway
go where the love
expensive.
is, man. If it's out there, it's out there.
This
is why I go live at around 3-4 o'clock. In consideration of people overseas, you know what I mean? Right. It'll be evening time for them. If we go on at 8 o'clock, that's you know what I mean. That's the middle of the goddamn night for them. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So I found that by going on at this time, I'm definitely able to see. Look, Hybrid Cypher is like, you tore up Manchester. That's because he's over there. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, yeah, this is a real good time. I get a lot of people from Africa and, you know what I mean, all kind of just all over the world, really, when you go on at this time. So, yeah, I understand taking that into consideration, and that's super smart, man. Go with love.
I should mention opening in London is a third of the price of opening on Broadway.
Okay.
Broadway is astronomical.
Right. For no damn reason.
For no reason.
They just want you to pay the rent for those fucking midtown theaters.
Right.
Owned by like damn near the same 3 families.
Crazy.
Yeah. Broadway's a monopoly, much like the Vegas Strip, much like everything in this country.
Let me ask you. Oh, yeah. Off topic.
There's definitely something going on. I'm telling you,
Listen, I was just going to ask him about, did you receive the ominous signal today on your phone?
Yeah, I did.
Did you try to avoid it at first?
No, I didn't. Like, you mean turn my phone off? Like everybody turn it off?
I turned my phone off.
I didn't turn it off because
I turned it off.
I'll tell you why I didn't turn it off.
When I turned it back on, it was right there.
The people that sent this, the couple of people that sent me that message saying, yo, turn your phone off, those particular people, I know what type of cats they are, and I immediately was like, I ain't paying attention to this.
Yeah.
Just now when my connection was bugging out, the dog started started going in circles barking. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what's happening though? Like, what's happening for real though? But that was like just now after the fact. I'm over here with a pit bull too, Jamar.
Nice. Real quick, what do you think about today's hip hop? the direction is, mainstream, underground, whatever section you want to talk about. But just what do you think about where hip hop's at right now? And
I think there's good music out there. You got to search for it. You got to make an effort. If you focus on just what's on the radio, then you're going to lose every time. If you just listen to the radio, you'll be convinced that there's no good music out there, no good artists out there.
Thank you.
But there is actually good music out there and talented artists out there. But you got to be willing to search for it. It disappoints me how lazy our generation of fans are. Like, they only listen to what they're being spoon fed. You don't know how many times I run into people out in the street and mall, wherever, and they usually look like us, and they'll say to me, "Oh shit, Master Ace, damn, I ain't heard from you in a while. What you been up
What's
to?
up with new music?" Like,
yeah, you drop. Yeah, last thing I remember you dropped was Me and the Biz. I'm like, what?
like, nigga, you know how many albums I had since then? Like, you just
If it ain't on the
High
radio,
97 didn't give it to you, then
it's horrible.
if it ain't on the radio, they don't know.
It doesn't exist to them. It does not exist.
Well,
I did a song with Marco Polo back in 2018 called Brooklyn, right? It was all about the borough. It was just an ode to Brooklyn, and it was a celebration of Brooklyn. And
Brooklyn
so,
Story. Yeah, I was a
and
part
we
of
shot
that
and
too. Look how much we worked together. Oh man.
we shot a video for it. The video's at 2 million views and everything. I ran into a brother, told he actually came to my show that I just recently did in Phoenix, and he had never heard the song before. And I showed him the video, and he was like, "Wow, this is dope." I'm like, "Bro, this came out in 2018." He's like, "Yo, I never seen it. I never saw this." So there's a disconnect to a certain extent. But yes, my answer to today's music is there's plenty of talented dudes out there. There's plenty of dope artists out there. You got to find it, but it's there. It's hidden in plain sight.
I tell people you got to be, instead of a passive listener, you got to be an active listener. See, when we was first coming up with hip hop, like, if you really loved it, you had to be an active listener. So you had to, like, stay up at a certain time and be ready on a certain night with your tape ready on a certain channel because WHBI or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that was being an active listener. And if you did that, you're going to have some shit. You're going to capture some shit that you can walk around with and be proud. Like, but if you want to just, be like everybody else, then you wasn't going to get that type of shit. So it's going back to that. Like, if you really want that shit, it's like, that's almost the roots of hip hop, is being an active, if you really fucked with it, you had to get out there and go to the jams and shit like that. Like, you had to go to the parties if you really wanted to hear this shit, because it wasn't around, you know what I mean? It wasn't around your way like that. You had to go to where it was at. So it's the same thing, right? It's come back to that now. No more of this just passive, whatever comes past you is your hip hop universe. No.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's much bigger than that. Like, and you have to, you know what I mean?
And I always say to people at my shows too, don't just give the show away for free. Don't just upload the whole show on your Facebook and stuff. If you bought a ticket and you came out and watched the show, why are you giving it to everybody else for free? Make them come out and if they want to see, give them a minute or two and be like, this is what you missed. But you basically giving it away. You did all the work for them. What you doing that for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so who's like some artists right now that you like Master Ace likes, that Master Ace fucks with?
Dope. I like Corday. My daughter actually put me on to him. Corday, and she likes Jack Harlow, who I ended up messing with. I was like, he's dope.
Hmm.
But then, you know, I like the kid Simba from LA. I like
Simba's dope.
I like Sci the Prince from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I like Joey Badass. I think he needs to get a little bit more recognition because he's a dope MC and his music is dope.
And an actor. And he's killing it on the
act,
acting
the, act,
tip.
the acting is the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like those kids, Coast Contra from LA. They featured on our new album. Me and Marco got coming out. We got them on a song, Coast Contra. The two of the brothers, four of them. Two of them are the sons of Mama.
Check out Nick Grant too. I think you'll like him. He actually gives me you vibes. Like he was
What's his
paying
name?
it like
Nick
Nick
Grant. He's
Grant.
been around for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rascast. Two of
definitely
the guys
paid
are
attention
Rascast
to us.
sons.
Oh, word.
Wow.
Okay. I never heard of this group, but that's
You
dope.
definitely, I
Yeah.
guarantee you've seen a video of them rhyming because
When you see him, you'll be
boys.
like,
You'll be like, oh,
oh.
I've seen these dudes because it
Oh,
went
okay.
viral with like them freestyling. They
Right.
crazy with it.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, man, anything else you want to put out
I
there
don't
and get it?
wait.
New album.
Have we asked
Oh,
you?
new
Wait,
album.
real quick, because have we asked you who your hip hop influences were coming up? Like, who did you look to and be like, damn, that?
Y'all didn't ask me that. I actually say it. I say it in my show. It's part of my show. I made it part of my show. I named three of the MCs that were big influences on me. LL.
Hmm.
LL was first because he came with all the big words, which nobody was really doing big words and rhymes. And I was like, whoa, I know some big words. Let me throw some in there. Kane, big influence. And Rakim. Those are like, and then KRS. I got to throw KRS in there too. Those are kind of like those four guys were kind of the foundation. They gave me the bar. Like, this is the bar you're trying to reach or jump over. But if you're beneath that bar, you're not ready. So those were kind of like the four main guys. There were definitely a lot of other people like Chill Rob G, just on some lyrical stuff. There's a few others cats within the crevices that, you know, I would definitely mention as well. But in those early days, it was those four guys were the foundation.
Dope. Dope. Well, yeah, tell us about the new album.
New album with Marco Polo. It's our second together. Our first one was called A Brooklyn Story. Came out in 2018. The new album is called Richmond Hill, and it's dropping this year. And we got the album features Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang. It features Shay Noir, who is a female artist from Buffalo.
I know about her.
It features Blue from Blue in Exile. A couple other people. Speech from Arrested Development is on it.
Dope.
Of course, my EMC brothers, Strickland and Wordsworth, are also both on the album as well. There's a couple people I probably leaving out. I'm not big on like rattling off features in order to get people excited. If they're not excited about me, it's probably not the right.
That's right.
Fit anyway.
At this point, as if you know, you know.
What's the title Richmond Hill mean?
That's the neighborhood. Richmond Hill is the neighborhood that Marco Polo grew up in or was raised in. He's from Toronto, Canada. So he's from a neighborhood in Toronto called Richmond Hill. And so on the first album, A Brooklyn Story, we kind of tell Marco's migration from Toronto to Brooklyn and how he trying to get on as a producer. We kind of tell that story. So with this album, we're actually going further back to the day that he was born. So the album starts off, the first skit is called December 26th, which is his birthday. And the album starts with him being given birth, and he narrates his story throughout the album. And you kind of get an idea of his journey in his younger years, growing up in that neighborhood, Richmond Hill, some of the trials and tribulations that he went through as a young teen, drug abuse and things of that nature. And we have songs like helping tell the story throughout.
Shouts out Marco Polo. He gave me one of my favorite best beats ever. Like my favorite song in my discography, he made the beat for.
Is that what's it called? It's a rugged ass name too.
No, not Earrings Off.
Oh, okay.
The Earrings Off. That's everybody else's favorite record.
Okay.
That's everybody else's favorite. Pharaoh Monch called me on the phone immediately, like, sis, Earrings Off. No, my favorite record is Storm Coming.
Oh, I don't know if I heard that one.
Yeah, I've got I got Chuck D talking on that outro, both because I did a remix, and I got two versions of it. The second one is featuring John Connor. It's like a play on Terminator. So I actually got the rapper John Connor on a remix.
Oh.
That's my jam. Storm Coming.
Text me that name of that song, please, because I know I'm gonna forget as soon as we hang up. But I'm gonna look that up. I want to hear that.
For sure. Yeah, I'm talking to my future sons in rhyme about, the machine's coming.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, listen, my people, I got to get ready to get out of here. Yeah. Got things I got to do, but I appreciate you coming by, my brother, man. This was great, man. We could go on and on and on if we had to. But,
Word.
Absolutely.
And I was supposed to be on 95 right now. I had to just stop, pause, find a cave. Like, no, I got to be alive and present for my guy.
I had to deal with him.
I'm glad you did.
While we was going through this shit, I'm getting calls like, your father don't want you to want to leave until you come here. I'm like, Pops, don't do this, man.
Take care, Pops.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Appreciate y'all both. Appreciate y'all both.
Appreciate you.
Hold up. What's where can people follow you and stuff like that?
At Masta Ace Pics on Instagram, MASTAACE Pics, PICS on Instagram. Just at Masta Ace on Twitter, and then Masta Ace Official on Facebook. Those are the only places, and I'm not really super active on Facebook. I post there, but I don't look at Messenger, none of that. So don't send me nothing on there. If you want to hit me direct, you want to DM me on IG, those I answer, but I don't mess with Facebook like that.
No, I feel you.
I be trying to tell motherfuckers. People take it personal. I sent you a message on Facebook, like, dog.
I might not see that shit for months.
Like, everything on Facebook is literally forwarded from Instagram.
Your best bet is to hit me on iJizzle. You know what I mean? I'll most likely see that one.
Yep.
So yeah, my brother, thank you for coming through. We wish you the best. We hope to be, at the very least, attending one of these readings in Newark or Brooklyn.
Yes, Newark.
And hopefully
put it in the air.
Yeah, we're gonna put it out in the air, and when you open up in London and all of that, and we'll fly out there for that.
That'll be amazing.
Thank you, Riot Packs. Let me see anything else. Hang on. Shout out DJ Bless One.
Oh, DJ Bless One. That's I was just on tour with that brother.
Okay, thank you, Bless One. DJ Bless One. Doom Mega. Blessings to my rhyme masters, Master Ace, Lord Jamar, Queen Digga. Thank you, Doom Mega. We appreciate you. All right.
All right, gentlemen.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Master Ace. Thank you, my brother.
I'll be seeing both of you guys at my wedding. Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
All right, bro. All right, Digga.
Yes.
Good one. We haven't done a nice interview in a minute.
Yeah,
But
I'm mad that my signal was bugging out. I don't know what the hell that was about.
it's all right. We got through it. We got through it.
Word.
So yeah, anything you want to shout out? Anything you got coming up that you want to let the people know before we get out of here?
No, actually, I'm on. Well, shouts out to the Newark Arts Festival that just took place. I was rocking with the Newark Symphony Orchestra. Um, getting my Nas at the Kennedy Center on. Um, none. I pretty much I'm 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 on pause right now. You know, I got less than 2 months to go to the big day. I am doing what is it, A&T's homecoming in Greensboro in November, but
I'm doing that too.
well, I guess I see you at the party.
Ain't that November 4th?
Yep.
Yep, we're doing that too.
Yep.
I was gonna be there. I just happened to see my flight itinerary just popped up for that. I kind of forgot all about it and shit.
Oh, actually, I'm bugging out. I'm doing a whole ass festival in California this weekend, the Thop Fest, the Happiness of Pursuit in Ontario, California. Dipset, I believe, is performing. Myself, Planet Asia, Pharaoh Munch, Immortal Technique, you know, bunch of us boom bappity bap ass heads will be out there. But that's going on this Saturday in Ontario, Canada.
All right. Well, listen, we thank y'all for coming through. Make sure y'all click that like button if you didn't. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and click all. We appreciate everybody coming through, everybody that donated in the chat. And y'all have a great and safe and healthy and productive rest of the week into the weekend. For the Godcast, I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
Peace.